Today we're going to talk about change, really building from our lesson in December that Kyle presented on the rider and the elephant, the thinking part of us, the feeling part. The road is our environment, and we're moving on the road into 2026. Hard to believe. And I want to start off with an article a client shared with me. If you're interested in receiving it, it has a real provocative title. It's by Dan Coe, and it's on Twitter actually. How to fix your life, your entire life in one day, and um, and so I like what he's getting at because during your day, you're asking yourself these tough questions. And one of the statements is, you aren't where you want to be because you don't want to be there, which is based on Alfred Adler's idea of trusting only movement. And sometimes, just like I was talking earlier about that red energy is like mastery, like, let's go, I got to get it done, I got to get it done. And sometimes we could have that green energy of significance of like, wait a minute, let me pause and look out the window and have some coffee and really reflect on life. That's kind of a significance. Green energy being in harmony, red energy is like do it now. And we want to and so we want to not be pejorative with like what's going on for us, especially when we're talking about changing behavior. And he asks these questions through the day. Am I moving towards the life I hate or want? What is the actual enemy? Not circumstances. We want to blame other people, but it's the internal pattern or belief that's been running the show, which might be a self-critic, it might be a self-sabotaging, and it could be unconscious. So we want to really be intentional about what's going on inside for me that is creating this rut or not allowing me to live the life that I want. And we're not going to do this, but I want you just to think about it. Write a single sentence that captures what you refuse to let your life become. This becomes your anti-vision compressed. It should make you feel something. Um, so it might be I refuse to be a victim in my life, right? It's like, okay, let me see how am I living that way? And if you have a second to grab a pen, write a single sentence that captures what you are building toward and knowing that it will evolve. And you could start it with something as simple as I want my life to be. And just kind of raise your hand when you finish. Okay, great. Cooper, you good? Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I'm driving, so I
Oh yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Hey, you need to pull over the side of the road and write something down. No, I'm glad you can just think about it, right? And maybe when we do our a little segment at the end, if anyone wants to share, we didn't do that the other night. So today we're going to talk about a very important model that is used all the time in the psychological sense. It's the five stages of change model by James Prochaska and Carol DiClemente, who developed the trans theoretical model. There were professors at Rhode Island. This is kind of this goes back to the 90s, but it's used all the time in substance abuse, coaching, and especially goal-oriented behavior. And so we're going to go through each step. and we're going to ask ourselves some questions. And really, why I love this model is so we can identify what stage are we in right now. Rob talked about like I want to work out, Kyle was talking about it, I was talking about it. Katie's probably in a place of like managing everything with planning the wedding goals around that. I want to get this done. Cooper's managing this new business opportunity. We're all in these stages of change and looking at goals of like how we want to change. So the first stage is the pre-contemplation stage. This is, I'm not ready. I'm not considering a change. I don't have a problem, might be denial. This is not an issue for me. Sometimes other people might say it like, wow, it seems like you're drinking a lot. Oh, what are you talking about? I drink as much as anyone else. Or I just smoke one or two cigarettes a day. Or my diet is fine. What are you talking about, right? And we all have kind of pre-contemplative kind of ideas that we know maybe we'd want to change, but we're not ready to do it. And so what we want to do is just kind of explore the impact gently, look at the costs and consequences. Building curiosity, raising awareness, and this is never easy because there's all types of changes we can make, and then there's going to be ambivalence. Part of us that wants to say, um, like we were joking around with Kyle, it's too cold to start right now to work out, or it might be, hey, I just need to get some calories in. I just need to eat anything. It doesn't matter. Okay. So that is the pre-contemplation stage, stage one. The reflection questions that we want to ask ourselves would be, what's working about how things are right now, right? What's not working, even a little? And then this one, if nothing changes for 6 months, what might you imagine happens? And that's kind of interesting time period, right? Because it's like 2 quarters, it's not just in 3 months because we can always kind of adapt and get by in 3 months, but what would happen in 6 months if we don't change? And this could be relationships as well. It could be a work behavior, could be self-care. Okay, so as we go through our lives and we reflect, we're asking ourselves, what if nothing changes for 6 months? What do you think might happen? The next stage is contemplation. Contemplation is thinking about change, but there's ambivalence. I know I should, but, right? Um, and we all have this kind of dynamic. Um, the part of you that wants to start working out, part of you is not ready for it. Part of you that wants to cut back on carbs, part of you is like, no way, not in January. Okay, so that's ambivalence when we have these conflicting feelings and thoughts. And the goal is to think about a plan, remove obstacles, increase confidence, and really think, okay, I think I want to do this. All right. And you might use some scaling questions on the scale of 1 to 10. How important would this be for me to change right now? Is it a five? Is it six? Is it a seven? And this could be something like, yeah, I think I'm watching a lot of Netflix stuff, right? And like, hey, I think I need it, especially in the wintertime to get through, but maybe not every night. Or a guy I worked with last night, he was like, I'm taking a lot of gummies, with THC, and I'm feeling like I didn't a year ago I wasn't doing it. Now I'm doing it like every night, and I feel pretty lethargic the next day. So it's kind of like just noticing and being ready for the change. Now the next stage, well, here the reflection questions would be: what are the pros of staying the same? What are the pros of changing? And what's the cost of not changing? And again, this is kind of scaling out how important is this change? And that sometimes allows you to, even though it's a subjective measure, allows you just to have like something that feels objective, scaling it. Then the next stage, preparation. This is in the research. oftentimes we skip over preparation. We go cold turkey. We start something like I'm going to go to the gym and and we just go and then we go like 5 times a week and we get hurt because we don't know, we haven't stretched out or we haven't done something. And so preparation is very important. Getting ready to make small moves. Um, this is really important, like for most people with changing like addictive patterns with substance use, let's say like nicotine or something. I'm going to start soon, create a plan, remove obstacles, increase confidence. So it might be uh, if someone was smoking cigarettes going from a pack a day to a half a pack in 2 days, right? And that's a big jump instead of like, I just quit today, going cold turkey, because that sets up a failure cycle. So we want to pick that first small step. And we're saying, what exactly do you want to change? What does success look like in 2 weeks? And what is the smallest first step you'll actually do? I want to tell you a story about this guy we're talking about working out, and this guy that I work with. He lives in San Francisco, and he'll. I talked to him yesterday about this, and it's funny. So he'll when he goes to the gym, he worked out for 2 hours a day. And then he didn't go to the gym for like years because every time he goes, it has to be for 2 hours. And my approach to that is to the smallest step is be flexible about how much time. You don't have that much time now. Can you make it? Can you make it 45 minutes, or can you just go to the gym, show up 3 times a week, and once you're there, kind of, that's a success. So that's the smallest first step is kind of being more flexible about your thinking and then just showing up. Right. So that's preparation. We want to be what's realistic, right? When we're real, sometimes when we're caught, at least for me, and I think the research shows this, we get overwhelmed by the magnitude of the change, and it's hard just to think about one thing. Um, Someone mentioned this maybe on Monday of like, take 5 minutes to do something like your taxes or something when it feels like dreadful. Just take 5 minutes and see if you can get into your flow as you move along. And then there's the action plan. Okay, sometimes we call this implementation. We're actually changing behavior. You're kind of in this, I'm doing it. All right. And you want to support your consistency, reinforce wins, troubleshoot setbacks. So, like today, I've been trying to work out 3 times a week. I didn't want to today. I did this thing that I mentioned this on Monday. I forgot her name, but Mel Robbins wrote this book called Let Them. Has anyone heard about that? Katie, you've heard? Well, Mel Robbins has a really cool story about how she was really stuck, and now she's a real successful author, but an influencer and spokesperson. But she before Let Them, she had this concept of 5 second rule, right? And it's like give yourself 5 seconds to think about what you're going to do, and then just get up. A lot of times it's just about getting up out of bed, especially if you're feeling depressed and really down. And so you support consistency, reinforce wins. All right, hey, I got to the gym. At least I got there today. Um, and then troubleshoot setbacks. Last Friday, I didn't. I went down to Indianapolis and I was like, I could have easily got into one of my patterns of like, oh, forget about it. I'm out of it. And then I was thinking, okay, just try to get back in on Monday. So you're really trying to be positive with yourself, celebrate your effort, process, not perfection. That's a big thing. Uh, that's important. I hear that a lot in the therapeutic setting of like changing behavior. It's process, not perfection. It's not linear. Okay. And refine the plan based on what's working. Um, and then reflection questions. What did you do this week that moved you forward? What looked better than expected? What was harder? And then the final stage is maintenance, sustaining the change over time. this becomes integrated with who you are, shifting from doing to being. Build and then build in a relapse prevention plan. Okay. And really, it's kind of like this is what I do now. The reflection questions might be what's different about you? What do you do that proves this is becoming who you are? And what situation could pull you backwards? And again, this kind of ties into a little bit with what Kyle's talking about. The rider is the rational mind, the elephant is the emotional mind, and the path is the environment. So, okay, we kind of went